Hi, George.
Hi, Carlos.
How's it going, dude?
It's better now. Thank you for asking.
Better now.
Better now in the evening of Monday, May 4th.
May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you. That's
Yeah.
lost on, I mean, all of that shit's lost on me. I
Yeah.
acknowledge it as as a fan of pop culture. I understand it. I watched all the movies, but yeah, it's completely lost on me.
Yeah.
I
At what
prefer
point? Was it ever a part of you?
no, I was never
Something
a
you ever
Star. No, I wasn't ever. I mean, I didn't see any of the Star Wars movies
Mhm.
the until they brought back these last ones.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? The one with
Yeah, yeah,
Riley or whatever. Yeah,
mhm.
that's when I finally watched like the whole, all of them, like four, five, six, one, two, three, and then I saw seven, eight, nine, whatever.
Nice.
Yeah,
Well, cool. Well, happy May the 4th, Star Wars Day, and you're better now.
and I'm back now
And
because it's now because you know which one I like more than May the 4th. I like It's Gonna Be May.
that's
The sync
yeah,
one.
for real. Like
Yeah,
I think that's hilarious, man. And
I
like
love that.
I had to write a blog post for my practice. We take turns, and so my opening line is, "Well, here we are. It's May," and I kept laughing because I just keep hearing the "It's gonna be May."
It's gonna be May. So good.
And I have to keep it professional, so I can't put like a parentheses like Justin Timberlake voice, like, but whatever.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but here we are, and you are you're better now from what? What's going
Uh,
on?
so there was a tweet that I posted last week, and it talks about the hell zone, and it basically is like, hold on, I'm gonna read it because it's really good, and it's basically like, what does it say? Hold on. The quarantine state of mind is having 3 solid days where you feel pretty well adjusted, followed by a sudden and unexpected dip into what we call the hell zone. And the hell zone is an anxious, semi agitated state where you just sort of are off the whole day and time flows like you're wading through chili, and the hell zone will never sync up with other people's hell zones. And that's always going to make you feel weird and stressed out. And so I posted this like a
That's
couple weeks
really
ago.
well written. That's
Isn't it
like a
good?
really
Yeah.
good
So
description of
it's
like what's
by
happening.
I'll just give the credit to Dan Sheehan, at it's Dan Sheehan on Twitter. He posted
Mhm.
it. I posted it on my Instagram. I thought it was really funny,
Yeah, it
but like
is.
also like true. And so the goal was like I posted it originally like the goal is to stay out of the hell zone, and then it just kind of like popped back up, and I just like reposted it today like we're alert, we're in the hell zone, here we go,
We're in the hell zone again.
here we go, and it's like you wake up. I mean, you just realize that you're not in a good like mood, like
Hmm.
you wake up and you feel already like some sort of like dread or doom or gloom, despair, sadness. And it was like a
Yeah.
little cloud that I woke up with. And I try to brush it off as like I went throughout the morning, like that first hour where I like get myself together, get my breakfast, get my coffee, like log into the emails, start to work, try to like move through, and then it wasn't going away, and then I just like took a second to acknowledge it, and I did an Instagram post where I just kind of like I did like a very like longingly like look off into the distance post,
Hmm. Yeah.
picture, um, and it was um, if I something like if I don't keep moving and I get stuck in my feelings, I feel like I'm gonna be swallowed by despair. So I just need to keep moving. So it's like I had a list of things I had to get done today. And so I just was like, okay, we're gonna take this little depression through this to-do list today. It's like wearing a weighted. Have you ever done a workout with a weighted vest?
No, never.
Okay, so imagine doing like any kind of workout. It already feels like the way it feels, but you throw on a vest that weighs an extra 20 pounds, and it
Oh my
just makes
God.
everything you do a little bit more laborious. Everything
Oh,
feels a little heavier. Everything feels, yeah. And so
I
that's
would
kind of
hate
like
that.
the physical way that I would describe kind of like when I say just keep moving. Because if you do
Hmm.
keep moving, you eventually just get to either a place where things feel lighter or you just feel adjusted, um, or you're able to kind of like be done with it. And
Right.
luckily, I feel like we're done with it. I have a pending thing I have to do, and we talked about this before the pod, like before we started recording, like what? And I was ready to say it, but now that like we're on, I don't know. But I
Okay.
basically have to like make amends.
Mm.
I have to make amends, and I I think I'm pretty sure that the reason why I woke up in a funk was because I like had conflict yesterday, and it kind of came out of nowhere, and it really like I thought it was the other person's fault, and it was actually my fault. And
Whoops.
I I really swore that like I was mostly in the right. Like I would have um, compromised that. Well, I mean, it was David. I'll compromise that like that David had needed to own like a bigger portion of the conversation or of the fight that we had. But when I was replaying it in my head today, yeah, I need to. I was being fucking crazy. I
Yeah.
was being crazy and insensitive, and or like it's. Have you? Can you know how it's? I don't know if it's weird to say this or not, but like I was being super sensitive, and then at the same time insensitive to his feelings. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
That's
I was so
it's
hurt.
self-consumption, self-consumption. You were consumed in all your feels to the
Yeah.
point where you weren't sensitive to his.
Nah, I completely just missed the mark. And I realized that like today, like in the afternoon, and like now I need to like make amends about it. And I just hope that like it just gets I don't know, like I just hope that like he'll forgive me.
Well, what's your method? What do you have a communication method, like a system in your mind that's like, okay, this is how I apologize. This is the order in which I do things or which I say things.
No, I don't script it.
No, not
I
scripted.
don't
No,
script it.
not script.
Listen, I'm a person. How many times in your life have you had to like make amends?
Oh man, too many.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah.
You don't strike me as the kind of person who has like had to say I'm sorry a lot.
Well, I didn't. I think that I don't know. When I was in college, I was very. I had a. I don't know. At some many points in my life, I had this chip on my shoulder, and there were points in college where I was very, very sarcastic. When I learned the language of sarcasm, I utilized it a lot, and I feel like I maybe hurt some people's feelings along the way. And yeah, so many times I've texted people years later and be like, hey, listen, I'm not in a 12-step program. I'm not doing anything. I just out of nowhere, I thought about this situation and realized I never apologized to you. This doesn't require a reply, but this was a situation. This is what I did, and I'm really sorry. I've grown, and most of the time people are like, oh my gosh, like, first of all, it's great to hear from you. I never thought anything of it. And other times they've been like, you know what, I always kind of resented you for that, and that's really big of you to come and apologize, you know
I mean,
what
I've gone on apology tours as well,
yeah.
and I did it. There was I don't know if I ever talked about this. There's this like guy that would used to come around like a group of friends that I was friends with in 2003, and he was like I had a crush on this guy, and then he was like flirting with that guy, and so we would all like hang out and drink and whatever, and then inevitably I would just say something like kind of rude and
Yeah.
shady, um, and like people don't forget, and so fast forward
They
like
don't.
10 years later, he is now dating. He's like starts to date one of my friends, and we're all like hanging out at my friend's house, and I clearly remember like having said like this mean thing, and so I was just like, I was like, I turned to him in a moment where it's just the two of us, And I was like, listen, I don't know if you remember this, but like, I know that I said some really mean things to you, and like, you didn't deserve that. And I'm very sorry. And he brushed it. He was nice enough um, to kind of just like let it go. But I came to find out that it did mean something. And that's when I realized that like words have power, and apologies actually can bring people, can actually help out in making amends. And so, but I did. There was a girl like in high school was meeting some people. So when Facebook became a thing, I decided to like private message some people that I wanted to say I'm sorry to. And it kind of went like 70-30, where 70% of the people were like, no big deal, we're kids. And 30% were like, fuck you, fuck your mom, fuck you on your gravestone. Like, I never want
Oh my God. Wait. 70% were the mean ones?
No, 70% were
Or
like
the good
receptive,
ones? Okay.
varying degrees of like receptiveness. Like, I
Yeah.
don't remember, it's not a big deal, or it's fine, we were kids, or thank you for the
Okay.
apology.
And then 30% were like, fuck
Fuck
you.
you. Fuck
Oh
you
my gosh.
forever. And
Oh
I was like,
wow.
oh, fuck. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What you gonna do?
Well, I mean, that's the whole like concept of apologizing and forgiving is a very frustrating process because you apologized, you went out of your way to do that, and it took a lot of people don't ever take the step to apologize. So by apologizing, now you're putting the focus on them, and if they react in a poor way, then you're like, wow, it sucks that even after I apologize, they still have to feel a certain way about this, and I hope they
Yeah,
can get over
yeah.
it.
It doesn't,
And
like,
that's a tough thing.
it's, that's a, it's really hard for me to be reminded of past bad deeds, especially once I've tried to like make up for them or make amends for them or say I'm sorry. Um, I want it to be like, I've apologized for this, and now we're all gonna move on, and you're never gonna talk about it again. Like,
It
you're
doesn't
not,
work that way.
contractually, this apology comes with a caveat where you're not allowed to bring up this bad deed again. We need to move
Right.
forward, and that's what
No.
that's like, Carlos, I'm so bad. Carlos, I'm so
No.
crazy.
No. I wouldn't call it crazy, man.
I'm
I think
becoming a crotchety old person.
no.
I'm becoming like my grandmother.
Do you really feel that? I don't feel you're a crotchety old person.
I
What
mean,
do you mean?
I'm such a vieja old lady, mean lady. Like, there's no reason for me to be like, you hurt. Like, it, I just keep thinking about the fight that I had with David yesterday, and it's so fucking stupid. Like, I didn't need to do or say those things.
Right.
It was like dumb, and it was, it makes me really pissed off because I'm like the fucking Eckhart Tolle person who needs to be like aware and conscious, and I was completely not paying attention to what was going on in the room. I was consumed by like my little fucking my weekend didn't go the way that I wanted it to go. And like, no, by the way, no one's weekend went the way that they wanted to go. Like, everyone had plans that they wanted to do, and no one could do what they wanted, and everyone was pissed about it. But like, somehow, like, my pissed off was the most deserved pissed off in this one. I don't,
Mm-hmm.
it sounds crazy. It sounds crazy, and I'm pissed at myself, and because I really don't like to be wrong. More than like, you know what I mean?
Bingo. There it is. That's where it is right there. You
I
know?
don't like to say I'm sorry because I don't like to be wrong.
Right. Well, I think that it's sometimes we're wrong more than we are right, and more than we'd like to acknowledge, and that's where learning comes in, and that's the beautiful part. But the methodology of apologizing, it all falls under the umbrella of, obviously, conflict resolution. And I think that a sincere apology is empathy, right? And you know really telling the person, I actually can see how I came across, or I can see how I made you feel this way, and it sucks, and I don't feel good about that. And then clarification. You know, the reason why a lot of conflicts never get resolved is because nobody ever clarifies their motives and intentions. And we've talked about that in prior episodes. And but it's such an important element that people skip, because the clarification is the pretty much the point where you're admitting that you're, you know, that you're wrong, and so therefore I'm the one that has to clarify my motives and intentions. So, you know, like, I could see how I pissed you off, but let me be clear that, you know, I consider you to be a good friend, and it's not my motive and intention to piss you off. I don't wake up in the morning thinking about how can I make George's day awful. You know, that's not my motive. And I'm just really sorry that we had to get into it. You know, things, and that process is very, very tough. But I think it's a useful one. I definitely think, I'm a firm believer that people should have a solid process to communicate, especially in these awkward situations that sometimes can escalate. And by managing that in the form of like having a system, you can avoid it from escalating further. You know, because the person you're apologizing to might be like, hey, you know what? I'm glad you're fucking apologizing, because you were a fucking asshole, right? And you don't ever fucking talk to me that way again. And you're like, oh, now your blood is boiling, and now pride gets in the way and ego gets in the way. So it's like, so, and the way I am, I don't know if it's an Aries thing, but the way I am is my Achilles is pride. That's like my Achilles heel is pride. So when I feel that somebody, if I'm apologizing and somebody says, well, fuck you, then now my pride is, you know, affected. And now, you know, I have to have a system in my mind, because if I don't, I'm going to be like, you know what? I take back my fucking apology, you fucking
No,
prick.
you can't do. See, like, that's where you and I fork off into different ways of doing. Because it takes a lot for me to, like, first of all, if I don't give a shit, the odds are I'm not going to do the amount of analysis necessary to, like, possibly come to a conclusion where I may have been wrong and you might be owed an apology. Because if I don't care, then it's like, it doesn't fucking matter.
Story.
And it's a different story. But if I can see it, and I come to it without having to be told about it, like, I come to it on my own, like the way that I did today with the argument that I had yesterday, then it's just a matter of, like, clenching my booty cheeks and, like, with the uncomfortableness, like, so I would, the way that I've done it in the past with people who I hurt and that I love, is that you tell them that you're sorry. And you tell them that you're sorry for what you said. Because no matter what was going on in that moment, it's not, whatever the motivating factor was in that moment, it was wrong, and you value the relationship more than whatever, like, was left. Like, if I was trying to be funny for the room and I insult somebody, and it doesn't land, and it's just not funny, and they get pissed about it, then I ain't fucking on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. I mean, it's yeah, I totally get it. I mean, you know, whatever it
and once I decide to, like, I'm sorry, like, once I mean, when I was saying, like, once I decide to do that, whatever comes out of the other side, whether it's like a yay or a nay, it's done for me. You know, they're just like, I don't accept your apology. I understand.
Right.
I understand, and
it takes a big person to do that, because then you have people are like, oh, come on, oh, hey, oh, come on, hey, but what can I do to make it better? What can and it's like some people just shut down, man.
I feel like some people just need time to move through that. I find time is helpful when healing kind of those things. And I can think of, like, one specific situation where I hurt a friend, not directly, but indirectly, by making, like, a shitty comment about his sister in front of, like, a group of people. Where I thought it was funny, but no one else. People thought it was funny, but it was also, like, cruel funny. And like, she got her feelings hurt. He was upset. Like, so I had to like really like buckle up and like call him, call her, call the husband. Like, there was like a whole thing. And understanding that because like of the things that I had said, like I had caused this hurt. Like, I'm the one that threw that rock into the water and caused that ripple effect. It's already done. I can't take it back. The only thing I can do, because I need to like, because I really want my friendship with this one person to last, because I really love him the most, is I need to make it right. And the only way you can make it right sometimes is be like, I'm sorry. I'm calling you and I'm saying I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't mean, I honestly didn't mean to offend you. But what I said was offensive, and I own that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, that's if that if that works for the person. I mean, how do you like to be apologized to?
Directly, just right up. Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry that. And most people that say I'm sorry to me, like, am I just like, I'm like, it's okay. I'm glad we can be friends again.
Yeah. Man,
There's one person. No, you know what? There's one motherfucker who I said I'm sorry. That said I'm sorry to me, and like I accepted their fucking apology, and they ended up turning into be the fucking shitty person I thought they were.
Oh man. Oh my gosh. Like the same thing where you apologize years later. I feel like calling people sometimes and be like, remember that apology I gave you? I know it's been 10 years, but I take it back.
Like, that person was a fake motherfucker, and I needed it. And I got caught up in like the spirit of like a collegial environment,
Right.
and just needed to like say sorry to move things forward and like, you know. But I honestly was like, I should have just been like, you know what, fuck you, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And they ended up, I mean, luckily they don't come around anymore, so.
Right. I think I mean, I went through a phase when I first started, well, my therapy experience started with couples therapy, then ended up in individual therapy, and then that's how I came across my mentor, and the rest is history. But there was a part of the therapy process about setting boundaries, which I was always really bad at. When I look back in my life, I realized how bad I was, awful at setting boundaries. I just let people step all over me. I allowed people make me feel bad, and I wouldn't correct people. I wouldn't say anything. And when I started learning how to establish boundaries, oh my gosh, man! When somebody would apologize to me, I mean, the pendulum swung the completely. I was just like I had a script, and if somebody pissed me off, because you got to know what your triggers are, and I knew what my triggers were. My triggers were people who are inconsistent, so people who treat you according to who they are around, right? So like they treat you a certain way, and then they're with a certain group of people, and they start talking to you a certain way or insulting you in a certain way to be funny, but it's not who they are when it's just you and them one on one.
Ew.
So yeah. So inconsistent people was like my biggest thing, like and that was a big boundary for me. And I remember I always had a line. My script was, somebody would say, hey man, my bad. I'll be like, you know what, I'm currently not taking apologies. You need to change. You can apologize through change. Just be a better person. And I think eventually we'll be okay. But
Carlos.
I don't accept right now your apology. And and maybe one day I will. But that is just, what you did is something that really bad people do, and I just don't associate with people like that. So, goodbye. And it was like, now here's the good news. The people I did that to, the people I said that to, that's no longer this. We're talking like 11 years ago now, or 12 years ago. But I no longer handle things like that. Obviously, I'm a different person. But at the time, I am happy to report that the people I said that to ended up being, or continued to be, just
Shitty fucking
pieces of
people.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm happy to report that, because I would feel really awful about it if I'd said that to somebody who ended up being like a really good person. And I would probably have to call them and be like, hey, I'm the one who owes you an apology, because of the way I reacted. Eventually I learned, to the whole concept of empathy, and that everything I've already, I'll say, I accept your apology. I totally get it. Some of us, we compensate when we're around people. You have a certain comfort level with me and you felt you could do that. But just to be clear, there's a clarification. To be clear, I don't want you. That's not acceptable to me. You cannot treat me different based on who you are around. If you're gonna do that, then unfortunately we can't be friends. But I accept your apology, and if you can own that, then we move forward. No harm, no foul. That's it.
I'm usually harsher with people who are not cool to people that I love versus when they're not cool to me. Like, it's easier for me to forgive a direct indiscretion or like a direct attack than if like someone were to come for like you or David or my sister, or like I see one of those people coming and attacking someone I love, I immediately want to like eviscerate them. And
Right.
they're like, that fucking person needs to fucking go. Like, let's fucking take them out. And taking them out means like we're gonna block them on social media. Like, let's just be clear.
Right. Yeah.
Or like we're gonna take pictures of them and draw like bigotes and like snarly teeth on their pictures and then pass them around back and forth to each other and then delete it. Like, that's what we're talking about here. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because I'm like that too now. That's what I've become, because I know that I can handle myself and I know that I can handle situations. So, but when I see people who don't have the tools or the skills to defend themselves or to like, set proper boundaries, and I see people taking advantage of those people, I'm very much like that. Like,
I just hate seeing fucked up shit being done. So when I see fucked up shit being done to somebody or something, I'm just like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like I can defend myself, but when I feel like it's happening to like an innocent person or someone who like can't do it, like take care, like, or like a dog that's being mistreated or something like that, I'm just like,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's for sure. And there's another interesting thing about giving apologies or accepting apologies is this really interesting concept of that, what, I have fucked up like that before and people weren't forgiving to me. So why should I be forgiving to other people who do the same thing? Have you ever experienced something like that?
I mean, I get, no. I don't, no. I do feel sometimes that I get worried about having to apologize because they might say, like, they might not accept it. And then I have to get, like, I'm stuck with unresolved feelings.
Mm-hmm.
But no, what was the one that you said?
Where in the past, you've asked for forgiveness on something and people have not, they have been like non-empathetic and just be like, I don't forgive you, or I don't accept your apology. And then therefore, when somebody does the same thing to you, you say, you know what? I wasn't forgiven when I did that, so I'm not forgiving you if you do that.
I mean, it's never happened to me because I've never not been, like, the people who told me to fuck off from like middle school, like, it has no impact.
Right.
So no, that hasn't happened to me.
Yeah, it's something that is, the whole thing of apologizing and forgiveness is it's such a deep process, because you have to be able to not project that out later on in your life. There's a lot to it.
You don't want to be like apologizing for the same thing over and over again. Like, exactly. That just gets like, sorry I had too much and I said all those terrible things again.
Right. Well, that's a pet peeve of mine, is when people are like, I'm just like that. I can't change. And it's like, no, like, I'm sorry. Like, if we're going to be friends, this isn't going to be a friendship where you're like apologizing to me about the same shit over and over again. And,
do you think those people that do you think those people are like that with everybody, or it's just something that does not like vibe with your frequency?
I think that's a great question, because really it's a case by case. Obviously, I think that I am a firm believer in that what we project out, you end up attracting. So I am a recovering people pleaser, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was a people pleaser all the way up to the age of 35. And we've gone through this. Remember, my therapist said, "You're nice as fake." Remember that? And I was a people pleaser, and I realized that a lot of people in my life, when I started setting boundaries, those people, what I was projecting is I just want to please you. So who am I going to attract? I'm going to attract people who only want to get what they want. I'm going to attract people
Yes.
who this guy's just going to say yes to everything. This guy's going to give me what I want, and nothing's going to be reciprocated because he's just so busy trying to please everyone that, he's not even requiring anything.
Yeah.
And then it creates a lot of resentment. So you end up I am a firm believer that you just end up projecting. What you end up projecting is what you end up receiving. So that's why change is internal. That's why if you want a different group of friends, you're the one that has to change. You're the one that has to project, a different, a person that has, your own like boundaries, your own values, your own belief systems, not like, oh, I'm just going to mold myself according to who I'm talking to. Because that in fact is fake, and people can smell that a mile away. So, it's it's on a case by case basis, depending on what you're projecting. What I always refer to, the story with the gym, that I was in a place where I needed new friendships, I needed new contacts, I needed a new network. So of course, when I came in hot, going back to the Friends episode, I don't know when that was. I think it was episode 5 or 6 or something. But when I came in hot, it was like, what's wrong with this guy? What's going on? Like, the fuck, calm down a little bit, chill. And then when my real self started coming out, then I was attracting people that now, I mean, I've established such strong friendships, that it's stronger friendships than I had when I was an adolescent. So,
I mean, yeah.
So anyway, I don't know if I answered your question. I kind of deviated, but
No,
definitely the projection and receiving.
I just hope it goes well, because I don't like there to be like rancor in my relationship, especially between David and I. So fingers crossed.
Well, you have my
By the time this episode drops, we'll know.
We'll know what happened. We'll have a part 2. We'll have a sequel. We'll have
a no, and I'm confident that it's gonna be fine. Like I can already like tell that like that we've moved on, but I just need to, like, having realized that it was like I'm the one that fucked it up, so I need to just like, I'd rather just own it, and hopefully it doesn't spark a whole other thing. But regardless, I just want to own that.
You have my recommendation. I can imagine that I made you feel a certain way, and I'm not proud of that. And it's not my intention to fight. I didn't want to fight. I hate it when we fight. I hate hurting your
fucking
feelings.
Hate being wrong, and like I was so wrong, and like strong and wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you know what? You're gonna be wrong again.
No.
Yes.
No.
You're gonna be wrong again.
No, dude, I can't be. Listen, I've had enough. I've had a lifetime. I can't be wrong. I need like to be, dude. I fucked shit up. Like I fucked up the lawn. I mean, I fucked up a couple of things. I fucked up like the washing machine. I like ran over a sprinkler today. Like I've been like, keep fucking up. Like you know when did you have parents that like always gave you consequences or punishments?
Yeah.
And you just had like a string of like bad things that happened. Just like, fuck, I keep fucking up.
Yeah. Because or when you get nervous and you become clumsy because you're nervous that you're
you're trying to like not like.
Yeah. Like when I'm driving, when I'm and Lauren is in the passenger seat, I turn into the worst driver. I have an impeccable driving record. I've never been in a car accident that's been my fault. It's always been somebody else's fault. I am always extra careful. I'm very proud of that. And I consider myself to be a really good driver. And I don't drive like a viejo, I take my chances and things like that, but I'm so aware, I'm so focused. I use all the mirrors. I'm mindful of my blind spots. I mean, it's like I'm this great driver. And here's just to add to that. Most of my career has been 60% driving. So it's like I've driven in my lifetime. I have driven more than the average person. But Lauren has a very, very different driving style. And so, so it's like I know that she's observing. So like it's funny because I tell her, I feel like I turn into a horrible driver when I feel that you're watching me. And it's true. So it's kind of like what you're saying, like when you mess up on something and you know that you're being watched because there's a consequence or something, you
Yeah.
end up becoming like more clumsy, or you end up becoming, because you're overthinking things. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. That happened to me a lot as a kid too. Absolutely. If I was in trouble about one thing, I would turn around and like knock something over, and I'm like, why now?
Yeah.
Why now?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that. All of
Yeah,
that.
all of that, dude. Yeah, yeah. Let me ask you this: Have your, and I'm gonna answer as well. I'm gonna answer my own question.
Okay.
Have your parents ever apologized to you? Or,
Mm, yes.
really?
Yes.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay.
Yes. It was a very long time ago, like a
Uh huh.
really long time ago. And I bet you if they were who they are now, they wouldn't have apologized.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. My parents used
Was
to
this
be,
the? Mhm. Go ahead. Go
what?
ahead. Sorry. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
They were very different people.
Mm-hmm.
They were very different people, I want to say 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so it was around that time where they were like, they were kind of like nice and we were good. I mean, I felt we've obviously like being a teenager was very rough, like, and I was very willful and I was the first. And so there was a lot of times that like there was some back and forth and I had to say, I'm sorry a lot because I broke a lot of their rules. Um, and abused a lot of their trust. I mean, but listen, when you have very rigid rules and a willful personality, the only way to do like, and it's not like the option. If the option is, I need to do what I want to do, not like, oh well, they said no, I'm going to choose to stay home. It's like, well, no, they said no. Now I need to figure out the back door.
Right. Right. Exactly.
You know, like,
Exactly.
okay,
Plan
oh,
B.
so well, I couldn't walk straight through it. Like, you wouldn't just say yes, go on this trip with your friends, or yes, you can go out to this nightclub. Fine, I need to fucking sneak out. Like, I'm gonna
Right.
go. Fine.
What's plan B? Plan B, plan C, plan
Always
D
just like,
until you get what you want. Yeah. Yeah, dude.
yeah.
So,
So and like, there was times where like I've been to therapy with my parents, and like I remember them saying sorry for things,
mm,
whatever, like maybe wrongs that they felt like they did to me. But
mm,
I mean, that was like 30, like I said, 30, like 20 years ago. I was a
wow.
teenager.
I
No,
know.
I mean,
That's
even more than 20 years ago. Fuck, what am I saying? I'm 41. 20 years ago, I was 21.
oh.
Oh, shit. That hurts so bad. 25 years ago. Oh,
I know. It's
fuck.
awful. I know. It's
Fucking
awful.
nut. Fucking nut. Okay, 25
I
years
hate
ago.
it. I hate it.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, I've been. uh, I mean, maybe not for this podcast. I don't know for this episode. I mean, but yeah, I've gone. I have regressed with the whole age thing. But whatever. Okay. Sorry. Let's
it's
continue with
fine.
this
It's
because
fine.
like this is important.
No, it's like, it's just that. It's just that.
Yeah. Yeah.
They didn't, it was just different.
Yeah.
And they would
And
never apologize now because of their whole like belief in hierarchies and whatnot.
oh yeah, yeah. My parents would never apologize for, that. Yeah, I mean, I love my parents very much. They were great, but being an only child, there was a point where I really stopped being the child, and we became three adults, and they very much owned that. I like they include me in every like financial decision, and like there was a point where I wasn't ready for that. I was like trying to start my own life, and like there was
Yeah.
like some, I couldn't handle it. Like it's like that really weird point in your life where you're old enough to be on your own, but you still kind of want the support of your parents. Like you still want to be the child. You don't like want to be completely let go of, and like, oh, you're an adult and you should, like at least for
Mm-hmm.
emotional support, not monetarily, just but so anyway, there was a lot of things. So same thing when I started setting boundaries. The hardest boundaries to set were the ones that I had to set with my parents, and and many times I was like, okay, this is the moment where you should apologize, and no, never. It's like, nope, we've
It
never done
wasn't.
anything wrong, and it's like, okay, it's just it's expected, and that's just what it is, and you learn to accept that, and it's fine. But but it is interesting.
The goal for me is to not make the same mistake twice. I think I said this already. And so now that I'm like super aware of like the fact that like this quarantine is bringing up these like trapped feelings, is just being like catalog it and save it for future use. Like, okay, George, like you have a weak spot when it comes to this, like things not going according to plan. And I mean, listen, all plan 2020 is canceled, right? Like all things for 2020 are fucking canceled. And if you're living in a world where you think that you're going to be able to go on a ski vacation or a winter break thing, or maybe in the fall and Halloween thing, like I call you a fucking optimist. And that's like the nicest thing I can say right now, that you're a fucking optimist. I'm traveling under the notion that 2020 is canceled. Fucking canceled. Canceled. It is literally May and we're still at home.
It's gonna be May.
No, May. It's May.
May. It's gonna be May.
It was gonna be May, but now it's May.
Well, you know, I'm going to a wedding in October for Halloween, and man, we're already. Huh?
Go ahead. Sorry.
No. That's you know it. Yeah, at this point, it's still gonna happen. We're getting ready to, you know, to travel with our collection of face masks that we'll have by then. You know, I picture having as many face masks as I have T-shirts by then, and and see what happens.
Maybe we should transition.
Okay.
And have talk about the fact that I'm super over masks being a fashion accessory already.
Right?
Already.
Yeah.
I hate it. I just hate it. And I'm not like willing to get on board on the novelty, because it's like, no. I mean, maybe eventually I'll get on it. It seems inevitable. Like it's a part of life that you just have to deal with. It just sucks. They're so like, I hate them. I fucking hate them. I hate the way
especially
they look.
If you have the face recognition on your phone. It's awful.
Listen, maybe if
awful.
I was ugly, it would be less impactful. But I'm not. I'm cute. I don't want to cover my. I have a pretty smile. Like I was with somebody and like they made a joke and I smiled and I'm like, I'm smiling under here. I'm like, you can't tell, but I'm smiling.
Oh my gosh. Oh man, that is hilarious. No, I know. I don't think it's gonna. I mean, you know, I know that we were trying to like not get back on, you know, this, you know, COVID topic, but man, you know what? Like I think people are just gonna end up taking risks. I said it last week. I've been saying it for weeks. I just think that, you know, it's gonna reach a point where people can be like, fuck it. If this is how I go, this is how I go. But I'm living my fucking life. That's it. Like, yeah, you know, like no more mask. Fuck the mask.
I mean, I say fuck the mask, but I'm still gonna put it on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna put it on, and until I'm like I was at Publix yesterday, and Lauren and I had the masks on, and it reached a point where I just was like, I didn't take it off, but I just turned around and like took it off for a second just to like breathe for a second. Not too many people around me, obviously, and then I had to put it back on, and I'm like, this sucks, dude, and I can't, and especially now with the heat and summer's coming, nope. Watch, mark my words. People are gonna be walking around with the mask down here, and that is Miamians' way of saying, "Fuck this."
Look, we've already established that we are not. This is not a science podcast, right? And we just trade on things that we read on social media, kind of.
Correct.
And so, with that set in mind, there is people that are, I guess, now starting to advertise getting like, or taking tests to find out if you have had it or if you have the antibodies for it. To basically be like, if you have had it, then you have the antibodies for it. So you're good to like go, and maybe you have to like cover yourself because maybe can still pass it on. So whatever, like it's good to know whether you do, you don't have it. Because if you do, like, so that you can like be able to like get together with other people who like may or do or don't. So you know how to like filter your social life. And I told David, I was like, I want us to get it And then I want all of us, our friends, to get it so that we can start having like social gatherings with the people who we line up with.
Right.
And I want an
Yeah.
Excel spreadsheet with all of my Facebook contacts. And be like, okay, this person matches with this person, and so they have it. Okay, so we can get together with them, and then.
Yeah. That'd be great. That would be one solid way of going about it. But I love my people, and I mean I love my Miami people, and I know them. I know our people, and people are going to be like, I'm not playing along with like I'll play. They'll play along when it was heated, when it was like happening, and like, holy shit, am I going to die from this shit, dude? Come June, July, with the heat, I'm telling you, people are going to like have it on. They'll have the face mask on. They're just going to like pretend like they had it on at one point and they're just taking a break from it. But really, they just never had any intention of putting it fully on. That's Miami at its finest, and I love my people. I love Miami, and that's just how it's gonna
I
be.
love Miami.
I love Miami,
I
bro.
love
But I
Miami,
know my
bro.
people, bro. People will be like, fuck this
Miami,
shit, bro. I'll
bro.
just keep it here, and if anybody gives me shit, I'll be like, no, bro, I was just taking a break, you know? Like, yeah.
I'm just really glad that there hasn't been like any kind of like race turf wars with everyone like wearing bandanas around their neck. That's like a 90s thing, right? That doesn't happen anymore, right? Like
It doesn't.
okay.
It doesn't. I wish it did. I miss the 90s. I miss the 90s
No,
so
it's
much,
good that
man.
you can like wear whatever you want and not get shot for wearing the wrong color. That's a good thing.
Yeah, it's
That's
true. No,
progress.
that is true. Oh man. Yeah, man. So, sometimes I do that subtraction math that you were doing earlier, and I can't believe that so much time has gone by. Where I think I think there's been like 2 generations of music already. I'm like, dude, everything I play, not anymore because now I've had to make an effort. But I was like looking at my set list, and I'm like, yeah, people enjoy it. Yes, people request it. People of all ages. I still stand by that, so I don't feel too bad because
Uh-huh.
I'll avoid a song like Santeria by Sublime. I'll do my damnedest, like all night. I'll be like, I am not playing that song. And there are people, early 20s. Do you know Santeria? And I'm like, are you asking because I look old enough to know that song, or are you asking because you really want to hear that song? And I don't ask them that, but that's really what I'm wondering. So, but now I've been learning songs. My whole thing now is I'm learning only songs from 2005 and on. That's it.
Okay.
That's it. Because that, I mean, not, if the average song in my set list ranges between the years of 1982 to 1999, right? So on average, the songs I play are how old?
Yeah.
20 to 20 plus years.
Yes.
That is classic rock.
That's oldies.
Yeah,
It's
that's
the
like
oldies station.
when you and I were 25 and we would go to bars and the band was playing Hotel California or Freebird, and because those songs were 20 to 30 years old for
Yes,
them.
except that I would challenge that the music that came from um, everything like after disco, the pop music that came after disco is very different than the pop music that came before it. And so
Mm,
like that 70s rock doesn't sound anything like the 90s rock or like any kind of like stuff that's put out by like Journey or Queen or yeah,
yeah.
that.
Yeah, no, and you're right. You're right. And
I
it's
mean
just
Bon
and
Jovi.
yeah. But the thing is that there's something there where people still like to be told that this is what you need to like, because I keep asking, because thanks to once again our gym network, I have friends. I've become friends with people who are much younger than me, and I say, dude, what songs can I learn? And they're like, dude, it's just the
Dude,
shit you play is
Passion Pit.
awesome.
Dude, download the Passion Pit Gossamer album. I haven't listened to it in so
Yeah.
fucking long. It came out in 2012. It slaps. It sounds so good.
Yeah.
And maybe no one knows it because it's such a it's a very niche band, but they got some hits.
Well, you know what?
Play
See that
Sleepyhead.
right there. That's that right there. Everything is a niche band. So like that's the trap, because I'll play a song, I'll learn a song and I'll play it, and so I'm playing to a room of 50, 60, 70 people, and I'll play a song 2005 and on, and 10 of those people will be like, fuck yeah. But if I play Journey, which I hate to play, and I think I've forgotten it at this point, but if I were to play it, all those people would be like, don't stop
I mean, don't stop believing.
believing. You know?
You
It's
know.
crazy.
Yes, I can relate to what you're saying right now because it's how I feel about reggaeton.
Okay.
I don't want to do it, but it comes on, and I'm just like, all
Okay.
right, yo perreo
Yeah.
solo.
Dude, did I tell you about my Bad Bunny moment?
No, you had a Bad Bunny moment. Were you on his Instagram live with him?
No, 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 no. Not that kind of moment. I don't know who he is, but like I was there was oh yeah, I was playing Spotify through Lauren's account in my car, and something occurred where like I was on my way to like go get her or something like that, but I was logged into her account, and this song comes on, and I'm just like, I start I start moving, dude. Like I start
Mm-hmm.
like the Latin in me started coming out, man. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, oh, eso está buenísimo, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And then I'm like, and then all of a sudden I look at my phone and it's Bad Bunny, and I was like, what the fuck is happening right now?
He's so
You know?
good. He's so
Yeah, it's
good.
like undeniable. And the thing is that if you're Hispanic, it's like you cannot deny it doesn't, our roots don't allow us to deny, our roots. Like our roots are like, fuck you, if a certain beat comes on, you're gonna move whether you like it or not. And
Correct.
that's exactly how it goes.
Correct.
Like,
There is something about like I remember when it first. So I remember the first time I would like reggaeton was on my radar, and it's when Daddy Yankee came out with that song La Gasolina.
yeah,
Do you remember that one?
I
And
remember,
so
of
I
course.
remember hearing it. I'm like, this is fucking terrible. But then cut to like 8 hours later in the night or in the day or whatever, or like I'm drunk at the club and they're playing "A mí te gusta la gasolina," and everyone's like, "Dame más gasolina," and I'm the first one with like my hands up in the air, just like screaming, like grinding on whoever was behind me, going insane. And
Yeah.
there is like that production, that beat, that sound
Oh
that you
yeah.
just want to like move your body to, and so it's undeniable. And yes, but like I don't like want to put it on in the car. That's not
It
true. I
just
kind of
came
do.
on.
It just
Yeah, I
did.
mean, it just came on, and I was like, this is awesome. And I was like, oh shit, so
Mm-hmm.
anyway, I don't know how we got from apologizing to music, but I love the turn that this took. So
Well, we made amends, and then we had to move forward, and so we did. Yeah.
very well put. I like that a
Yeah.
lot. Actually, it makes
Yeah.
perfect sense. We went through the progression, of things. Yeah. So,
I miss dancing.
um, you know what, man? Like, do you ever go on people's live streams, DJs? No. Let me tell you, it
Am
has
I
worked.
okay?
It has worked for Lauren and I. We connect a Bluetooth speaker, and we have a friend, two friends, DJ Diaga and DJ Cab, and they live stream very frequently. And whenever they do, we stream it, and we have gotten up in our apartment and danced. Is it the same thing? No, it's not. But we get it out of our system.
Okay, maybe I have to like see because I'd probably be more willing to do it if I had what I felt was a more willing partner.
Okay.
Um, but maybe I need to like. Did I did I tell you about the card games?
You didn't, but I saw your post.
So I keep being this person who like misreads the room, right? Like I'm so let me rewind a little bit more. And David has a cousin, and her name is Alessandra, and they're so close that they consider each other like siblings. They were peas and carrots growing up together. They're like he calls her his sister, yada yada yada. They're very very close. She comes to the States with her husband and her then 7-year-old daughter because it was going to be their first trip to Disney. And it was a big fucking deal. It was like the Frozen had come out, like it was super, like just like the anticipation and the planning that had gone into this trip was like major. They were coming from Sao Paulo. It was a whole thing. We had gotten a house. It was a whole thing. Yeah. Her husband's name is George. And so I am also George. George, on the first day of the trip, like catches a stomach flu slash food poisoning situation and is basically laid out for the next 5 days. And 7-year-old girls are kind of my thing. Like, I can make it really easy to them because I mean, kids just want to have fun. So if you're just silly and have fun and you know how to turn it on and are willing to get down, like they get it. And so at one point there was like, they kept the little one, her name is Gabi, would come into the room and she, or someone would say George, and then she'd be like, which one, you know, Uncle George or Father George? And they're like, that one. And she's like, well, more like, she's like, how about we need someone. Then she said something like, we need to give them like official names so that we know who we're talking about. And they're like, he's, so she points to me and he's like, he's Party George. Because I was always like, let's have a party, let's have a party, let's have a party. Right. And they're like, who's the other one? And they're like, she's Bathroom George, because he was always in the bathroom. But inevitably I'm Party George. And so like, yeah. I'm always like want to like get things going and get people together and celebrate things and do things. And so part of that was like, let me bring out all the activities and like put it out there. Maybe like we'll get things started. So I put it out there and I was like, maybe like seeing if like someone would like be like, hey, you want to play Uno? No, play Uno. I bought this like French game, this French card game called Miles Borns, which is really fun. And like I used to play when I was a kid, and like zero curiosity, zero interest, zero nothing.
Nope.
And I'm like,
rejected.
I misread the room. I misread the room. I thought we were all bored and wanted to have fun. No. So maybe like if I find one of these live streams, I'll like connect it to I'll just be like, guys, we're doing this. And I'll just like kind of like get myself moving and get everybody moving. And maybe then they'll like get up off the couch and off of their like devices and like participate. But I don't know how much, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we'll try it out this weekend.
Okay. I think so. I think you should. I think I'll send you the info.
Okay.
If you know, if like they announce, you know, like, because usually it's not like my live streams where I just go on and people later are like, why the fuck didn't you say anything? You know, but these DJs usually are really good at like announcing it a few days before. So I'll tag you and
word.
And, yeah. So, well, this has been great, George.
Indeed, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that I liked what we discussed today, and I think it's something that is an ongoing process as we grow and as we get older. The whole concept of how we're apologized to, or how, you know, when we apologize and how we apologize goes changing. And I hope that your apology goes really well.
Thanks, man. Me too.
Yeah. And if it doesn't, text me and maybe I can guide you through an alternate plan.
Deal.
Okay.
Deal.
George, where can they find us?
MOACAmedia.com. All things MOACA related, all point and places to point you in every direction that you want to find us. We are you can listen to us on anywhere that streaming podcasts are available. All platforms. We are on all platforms. Carlos did an amazing job of doing that for us. You can find us on Instagram at MOACA Media. You can find me on Instagram. I am at George I. Sanchez there. ¿Y tú?
And you can find me. I'm at carlos.escanilla. That's my personal and professional page. And then Carlos305 Music for all my music and recording. I'm doing a lot of stuff and then putting a lot of videos on IGTV, and same videos can be found on my YouTube channel. So all the music stuff is at Carlos305 Music. So George?
You should do I'm a Motherfucking Rock Star.
Is that a song? There's a song that's called that?
I'm pretty sure there's a song that's like, I'm a motherfucking rock star. I think it's a hip hop song too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll find it and I'll send it to you. I'll give you a list of things that I want to hear you put a spin on.
Okay. Deal. Yes. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. That'll be fun.
You always have good ideas. Fuck.
I
Why didn't
don't
that ever occur to me? I don't know
I don't
why that
know.
didn't. I
I'm
I
just
have
like
like an amazing resource here, and I did not. I am just. I'm glad to have you in my life.
I'm glad to have you in my life too, Carlos.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, you can catch all of our episodes. No, not all of our episodes, but you can catch these last 7 episodes on
Mm-hmm.
YouTube.
That's right.
Since we've been practicing social distancing, we've been uploading these conversations on YouTube. So if you're in the car and you want to see what we look like and who's bobbing their head, which way and what way, check it out. We're there.
I love it. All right, guys. We'll see you,
Okay.
or next week.
Indeed.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.